For our next video, we're going to fill in subcategories of subcategories. So let's review real quick. We've got our net worth, which is equal to your income minus your debts, right? We've got our income, which is equal to our jobs added up per month. We'll get to that in our next video when we add equations. But first we have to fill this out. What the instructions call for are over 100 columns or fields. And right now, with all of our subcategories, we get all the way to T, which puts us around 20 or more columns. It may seem like a lot to get to 100, but if we start here, I'll show you how it goes quick. We're going to right click on the I column, food, and hit insert. That's going to allow us to give subcategories to housing. Instead of continually right clicking and hitting insert, once you do it once, you can use your keyboard and do Control Y, which is redo. So you're redoing the same thing over and over again. I'm going to add about 10 here. Watch how fast they fill up. You can have rent. You can have mortgage. If you have a mortgage, often you'll have an HOA or homeowners association. You're going to have home insurance. We're going to abbreviate insurance, INS. Other things that relate to housing would be utilities like power, gas, trash, water, internet, and if we still look here, anything else related to housing or shelter. So far we've got subcategories of housing that are rent, mortgage, homeowners association, home insurance, power, gas, trash, water, and internet. Let's keep it simple and go with those. But right now, they're also bold, just like their super category. So let's select all of these subcategories and take off the bold and make them smaller. Now they visually look different from housing. Now housing's going out of its column, so let's double click and make sure that it adds up here. Now I'm going to do my own. I do not rent, so I'm put a 0. I do have a mortgage, it's $1,700 a month. My HOA is for a Chicago condo I have that I rent out, so I'm going to go ahead and put that's $390 a month. My home insurance is $75 a month. Power is $125 a month. I have no gas. It's all electric. Trash is $25 a month. Water's also about $35 a month. And internet is about $75 a month. So I want to go ahead and just keep on adding and adding all these subcategories. Well, we see we didn't use R, so we can right click it and delete that column. And then we can start adding subcategories to food. So just for a little bit of review, your super categories like debits and housing, we will not enter in manually. We will use equations to calculate these. So housing is equal to I2 all the way over to the sum of I2 to Q2. I can go ahead and put that in right now. This is our first equation. We click into the cell we're going to do the equation for. We go to our equation box. We first have to always enter the equal sign. That tells Excel we're about to do an equation. We're going to use their sum method or function, SUM. We're going to do a left parenthesis, and we're going to say housing in January of 2026 is equal to the cells of I2, write it out, do a colon, and that colon says you're spanning from something, so I2 all the way to Q2. So I2 colon Q2, close your parenthesis, hit enter. That is how much our housing is each month, the total. Let's do the same thing again for food. I'm going to right click under the hygiene to add columns. These are our subcategories to food. Do the Control Y a few more times. You might be wondering, why aren't we just putting in how much we spend a month on food? Well, in order to cut back or really gain meaning from your data, you want your data to be in the smallest parts possible. Yes, food as a category can work, but if we split it up, we might be able to better fine-tune any changes, edits, or updates in order to do our best with our money. So for food, let's say the main one would be grocery, secondary could be fast, third could be dining, maybe another one is mail. Some people order their food by mail now, like the meals that are prepped. And we could also say snacks. we have to make sure we don't double dip. For example, if we get snacks at the gas station, that's different from buying snacks at the grocery store. But you wouldn't want to put the snacks from the grocery store into your grocery column because then you'd be counting it twice. Now, once again, food is our category, and these are all the subcategories. So we want to take the bold off and make them smaller visually. Now we see that food is still looking like a big category. Now for me, this has been easy. It's been the same for me for many, many years. $250 at grocery store, about $50 fast food, about $75 fine dining, nothing through mail service, and I really don't spend much at gas stations or at vending machines, so I'll just put that at 10 bucks. Now let's do our equation once more. We can see that the total food category is equal to its subcategories, there are 5, from S2 to W2. So let's go up in our equation box. Of course, hit equal first. We're going to tell Excel we're doing the sum function, and we're adding S2 colon W2. Close that parenthesis, hit enter. Now we have that our food total is 385. See how fast this is filling up? And we need to get to 100 for this project. Now what's happening is we're getting a really big sheet or database, and we can do something pretty awesome. I love this option. Let's say that we know we're done with housing. We've got our subcategories, and we want to hide them visually. So you can select all of the columns and fields, right click, and you can click on hide. And what you're going to see, it's very, very subtle. You're going to notice there's a gap. Obviously, R does not come after H in the alphabet. And you're going to see this double line. That's letting us know that there are columns between these two. That would be the subcategories for housing. I can highlight the two columns that have hidden cells between, right click on them, and you can unhide. Okay, so one more time, click the columns we are done with, we want to hide, right click, hide those. Let's do the same thing with food. We're done with that one. Highlight, right click, hide. That puts us to hygiene, but we have these 3 hanging columns we didn't use. I highlighted all 3, right clicked, and delete. Once more, we can double click so hygiene fills up. Hit space. We can right click on the Y column, hit insert, and let's go ahead and add some hygiene subcategories. Hygiene can be split up in many, many ways. Oops, you know what? I forgot something. Before even hygiene, let's add in a category I left out, health. That's a big one. Now look how it's small and it's not bolded. So let's make sure that's bold 13 or whatever size you did. And let's add some subcategories to health. Of course, health is really important, obviously. So health, we have doctors, doctor visits. We have urgent care. We have the ER, kind of going up in importance. We've got meds. We've got OTC, which you hopefully know as over the counter. And we could still keep going and add something, let's say to the effect of etc. We don't like to do etc. because it's really not defining much, but if something doesn't fall under doctor, urgent care, ER, meds, over-the-counter meds, like let's say a cast, we're going to put it there. So we go ahead and highlight these subcategories to health, take the bold off, lower the size. Oops, I put it at 1. That was meant to be 11. All right, let's go ahead and fill these out. I'm just going to use my own life here. For example, I have about 2 doctor's visits a month. That's about 80 bucks. I don't go to the urgent care much these days. Neither do I do ER. You can always add these in later if something comes up. My meds are about $80 a month. My over-the-counter are about $20 a month. I don't have any etc. at the moment. I filled these out. Again, the health category or super category to these subcategories is equal to the sum of, and we can't see there it is, the sum of Y2 all the way over to AD2. So sum, left parenthesis, Y2 colon AD2, close your parenthesis, hit enter. Again, Let's go ahead and put a 0 in for etc. That's a null value, says, hey, we did answer the question, there's just nothing there. We'll take our subcategories and hide them. So again, we're hiding all those subcategories to get these major categories to eventually add up to debts. So for hygiene, you may put, let's say, laundry. You could put bath. You could put scent. You could put hair. You could put haircut. You could, let's keep going. Let's add in hair color. Let's add in, what else with hygiene? You could put in lotion. You could put in anti-aging. You could put in sunscreen. See how we're really divvying up hygiene into many, many different parts? That way, if we wanted to cut back on something, like let's say, I'll give you another example from my life. When I was 18, I learned how to cut my hair from my college roommate. That was 24 years ago. I have been cutting my own hair for 24 years. So if I take the savings from that, for example, I've actually saved about $12,000 to $15,000 over 24 years by doing my own hair. So for our hygiene subcategories, let's go ahead and make them minor looking. Take away the bold, make them smaller. And let's just say laundry each month is $20. I would say 25. I buy a lot of stuff for laundry. Bath, let's say, is 15. That would include soap, shampoo, or no, shampoo will fall under hair. Scent, let's say $25. Hair, probably about $5. Haircut, 0 for me. Hair color, about $5. Lotion, about 10. Anti-aging stuff, I'd say about $15. And then sunscreens, about $8. And this will be the last time we look at this, how to do it. And that's going to be the sum of all of these subcategories going from laundry to sunscreen, or AF2 to AN2. Let's go to our hygiene. Let's hit equal. And we'll do sum again. Left parenthesis. Move this over. This is in the way. All right, I didn't get to finish. AF2 is what I'm trying to type in. So again, hygiene is equal to sum AF2 colon all the way over to AN2. Close our parentheses, and here's our hygiene total. Once more, let's hide these subcategories. So far we've got the month-year determiner. We've got our net worth, which is we're gonna look at the very end. Let's go ahead and add up our income, which would be equal to the sum of our 3 income types. So that would be D2 over to F2. Again, D2, E2, F2 equals the income we had for January 2026. Let's hit enter. Same thing you can do. Pull this down. Now, we can also do the same thing over here. If I click across and I pull these down, they're going to repeat. And if we unhide any of those columns, guess what? It also applied to those. So again, you can highlight, right click, unhide. And you can see that when we automated these going down, they filled in. Maybe I'll do one more with you. Let's do phone together. Right click on education to insert some columns and fields after phone that have to do with phone, or in other words, subcategories to phone. Smartphones have become really important to us, and so it's kind of interesting to go ahead and make these a big subcategory instead of putting it under utilities like housing and shelter. So for our phone, we'll actually have the phone itself. We've got the service. We may have PH insurance. Okay, that'd be phone insurance. We may have, let's see, data that we might pay. Well, let's call this games. A lot of people play games on their phone. You might have music on your phone. We can keep going. So far we've got the phone, cost itself, the service, the phone insurance, games and music that you may have. And why not? Let's just add case. I know some people like to have lots of different cases. For our subcategories to phone, let's highlight them, take off bold, make them smaller, and now we know that they are our smallest categories like these other ones. For me, I pay about $50 a month for my fancy Note 7 from Samsung. The service, I pay about $45 a month. I do not do phone insurance. I think it's a scam. I don't have any games anymore. Music, I don't. No, I do. I do music at $5 a month. And then case, I buy one a year for about 25 bucks. So actually, if we divide that into 12 months, I spend about $2 a month each year overall, buying about $25 worth of cases a year. Last time we'll do this. The overall phone category is equal to the sum of AP2 colon, or the range of AP2 to AU2. Close your parenthesis. I want you to keep going past this. All right, and you're going to get to at least CZ. That's about 104 entries. And you're going to be doing that by breaking up these categories into many parts. So let's do this one before I close this video out, because this one kind of gets people. Entertainment. This is a big category. So we're going to right click on gifts, hit enter, and we're going to Control Y some subcategories to entertainment, because don't hate me for this, entertainment's going to have a subcategory that also has its own subcategories. So entertainment might look like going out to the movies, look like theater, it could be sports, it might be video games, it can be streaming, and we're going to stop at those, because guess what? Streaming can be split up even further. This is our first time having a quaternary split. Let's go back over and see how we're doing that. Debits is level 1. Entertainment is level 2. Streaming is level 3, and we can split up streaming. But I'll go ahead and start filling some of these out. After entertainment, we have our subcategories. We got to make them smaller visually so it looks correct. Take off the bold. Let's just go ahead and enter in some. I go about one movie a month. In Chicago when I visit, I probably spend $240 a year on theater shows. So let's just divide that by 12. It's about $20 a month. Sports, I play sports, and it is entertainment for me, and that would be $20 a month. Video games, I buy a new video game once a month. It would be $75. And then streaming. We're not going to calculate this. We are going to do subcategories of streaming, and I'll show you why as well. So let's start entering those subcategories to streaming. I'll start with the most popular, Netflix, YouTube. These are the ones I have, of course. Hulu, Paramount Plus. Let's add a few more so you can see what's going on here. All right, we got 3 more to put in streaming. I've got Peacock, HBO Plus, or Max, and I've got Wow Presents Plus. Now, these are subcategories to streaming. So we visually need to make them even more obvious that they are subcategories. I don't know what happened here, but it's trying to give us an equation when we were just trying to enter in text. Take off the bold. Let's make this 9. Let's make it really small so we know these are subcategories. Go ahead and select the entire column or field. We'll make this 9. Okay. So before I even enter them in, why don't we do the equation first? So the equation for the category streaming is equal to the sum of its parts, which would be BD2 colon to BI2. Make sure I did that right. Hit enter. It's 0 because we haven't entered anything. For me, I spend $24 a month on Netflix. Yes, that's shared with my family. $15 for no ads YouTube. $10 for Hulu. $8 for Peacock. $15 for HBO Max. $5 for Wow Presents Plus. And $12 for Paramount Plus. And notice that our total streaming was updated every time we entered in a different amount. So I'm going to end there. I want you on your own to go through here and start adding in subcategories. Be sure, like for example, with kids have their own special costs. Yes, you're going to spend more on groceries, for example, but you wouldn't want to double put in your groceries and kids groceries. You want to just put that under groceries. So anything specific to kids or pets that's extra, clothing, for example, could be shoes, could be hats, could be business, could be casual. So split that one up. Vacation could look like summer vacation, winter vacation, world travel, state travel. It depends on what you want to do. Gifts could look like B-Day gifts, Christmas gifts, anniversary gifts, so on and so forth. So again, I want you to really add all these different things in that we spend money on. And I'll say it one more time. The best way to make meaning of data is to have the smallest parts of data possible.